Garen, the metal theologian. Alright, so, haven't actually been buying much new stuff lately, so, just shit going on in life. So, it's going to be a little bit of an update video, but the inspiration for this video is that I actually just finished watching Garen's latest video, and he was talking about how much he loved bread, and the band bread this, and the band bread that, okay, I might as well say up front I hate bread, but I have a couple stories about it. It's actually kind of funny. So, I'm going to go ahead and, I'll talk about a couple records I've just been listening to, but I'm going to tell a couple stories about bread. So, before I get into it, I'm playing a record right now that I've had for a long time, but I don't really know very well. It is, Danger Metal by Saints Anger. That's kind of a stupid cover. And Saints Anger is really a pretty stupid name for a record. It kind of makes me think if this is the guy right there who decided that Saints Anger would be a good name for a band. So, I don't know, man. It's Mausoleum Fair, and it was probably the kind of band that gave Mausoleum a bad reputation when it had a bad reputation. But you know something, man? This is a pretty good straight-ahead heavy metal record. It's German. I think it's German. Yeah, the guy's names are German. And I'm trying to find the year on this. I don't see it, but yeah, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. I mean, it's on Mausoleum. It's like a mid-'80s thing. It's cool, middle of the road metal record. I mean, it should be in the top 50 metal records you buy. Definitely not. But you know something? If you're just sort of going through the collection because you haven't bought anything lately and you're looking for something to check out that you haven't listened to in a while, totally meets that need. Maybe Green will have more to say about it when he finally does his feature on Mausoleum. Although, I swear I'm not going to lean on that cat because he finally did that Ebony thing, which, if you haven't seen his Ebony feature, you should probably stop this right now and go watch that. So, anyway, I'm actually not very thirsty today, but I'm going to take one for the team by drinking this little puny 1893 Pepsi Ginger Cola. And I'm sort of cheating because I had one of these before. I can tell you right now I didn't like it as much as the regular cola. But it's not fresh in my mind, so let's give it a shot. Because it is good. Yeah, man, this is more like a ginger ale than like a cola. There's a cola flavor in there. In fact, it has a really cola-y finish, which is nice, okay? But like the front of it is like a really sharp ginger, like almost like a Blenheims or something like that, where it's sort of like, I mean, I almost coughed a second ago, so let's see. Yeah, if I'm careful with it, it's okay. But like if I try to talk while sipping this shit, man, I'll start fucking hacking. So it's very good. I mean, these things are expensive though, these 1893 Pepsis. The fact is, the regular one, I think it's worth what you spend. I think you should try it at least once because it's just a fucking fine cola. But this one, it's not going to be getting $1.70 out of me very often for that. So, So I'm actually going to start with an obvious one before I start talking about bread, okay? This is going to surprise me. I'm a little bit inspired by LJ on this because he was chatting about this band, but I actually just went out and rebought this a few weeks ago. Look at that. That should be the thumbnail right there. It's a fucking metal theologian holding the Stones record, and his obvious Stones record is this. But the fact is, even though I don't really listen to this band very much anymore, man, when I was like in college now, I listened to the Stones a lot. And my favorite era was like that middle period. It's the classic Stones period, you know what I mean? Like this, and Let It Bleed, and Get Your Yayas Out, you know, through about 60 fingers right there. Exile on Main Street was always a little bit too much for me. I don't have anything bad to say about it, and I probably haven't really given that record its due, but at least at the time, I don't know, it's just too much fucking Stones. I just couldn't make it through a double LP of their shit, I suppose, you know. So I used to have all these, kind of got rid of them, kind of rebought some of them over time, but like about a week ago I actually went somewhere, it doesn't matter where I was sitting there and I was really fucking bored and the people around me were annoying me and I was like, you know, I really need your sympathy for the devil right now. I'll bet they have it at Barnes & Noble. So I actually went to a fucking Barnes & Noble and bought this record. And it's probably the first and quite possibly the last record in my collection that came from a Barnes & Noble. But you know something, man? It was there for me when I needed it, and there's something to be said for that. Paid full list price for the thing, no doubt. No deal on this thing. Used to have it. But you know something? This thing was there for me when I really needed it. And records get a lot of credit for me for that, you know? I'll probably keep this thing forever and appreciate it because on the day when I really needed to hear this record, fucking Barnes and Noble had it for me, so. And by the way, this is really a cool record. I mean, there's a little cool things about this one. Like, there's no full drum kit on this record until the last song on the first side, you know? And it's like, if you're just listening to it, you're not paying attention, you won't notice, but it's like, it's just like congas and like other shit like that, like bongos and just some weird drum shit. It isn't until then, you know, later on, you know? And there are really only two big hits on here. I mean, it's Sympathy for the Devil and then Midnight Rambler. But it's a lot of kind of deep tracks on this one, and I don't know, what can I say, man? I guess I still really do like the Stones. In fact, I'll even say that I appreciate their earlier, like, more R&B stuff more than I used to, and I was actually a bigger Stones fan, you know, back in those days. So, now, before I got that one, when I was sort of trying to scratch the itch, or actually after I listened to that one, but I didn't want to hear Let It Bleed, because back in the day I just played that one too many fucking times, and I couldn't find my copy of Sticky Fingers, which I swear I have somewhere, but it's like stashed away because of the zipper, so it isn't with the other shit, and I couldn't find it. So I was like, okay, maybe I can scratch the itch with this. Let me tell you something. This didn't scratch any fucking itch at all, except, like, me, like, clawing my fucking eyes out, because this record is terrible, dude. Fucking Sucking in the 70s, I mean, I'm not even gonna say it because it's too easy. This record, terrible, man. Like, I like Goat's Head Soup, okay? I actually think Goat's Head Soup is kind of an underrated Stones record. This fucking piece of shit doesn't even have any of the decency to, like, put anything off Goat's Head Soup on it. Just one shit track after another. I think the best song on here is Beasts of Burden. And you know something? When the best song on your Stones comp is Beasts of Burden, you didn't put together a very good comp. Alright, let's talk about Bread, though, okay? Because I actually kind of have a little bit of history with this record. Okay, like I said, I hate Bread. Okay? I read Lester Bangs' reviews where he was talking about he reviewed like every single fucking Bread record, and he always found some dumbass reason to love them. So, like, and you know, what can I say? I mean, why do you think I was listening to Stones, right? I mean, big influence on my taste, you know, free jazz, you name it, you know? I think I probably have more German records than he did, but you know something, I live at a time when people are trying harder to bring that shit over here, and I have shit like the internet, which, you know, you just weren't going to find that shit back then. He did write a great piece of, like, underground Finnish bands, man, and even though bands like Tassavala and Presidente and Wigwam don't seem all that obscure anymore, man, still at the time. Anyway, way off track here. So this record, man, Best of Bread. This is my second copy of this record, and I hate it, okay? It's just, like I said, just be up front, okay? So, first story about this record is, when I was still living in San Francisco, okay, the last place I lived in San Francisco on Pacific Avenue in Chinatown, you know, I got to know the mailman a little bit. Of course, I always get to know the mailman, because when he's bringing me records all the time, who's the guy who's getting the records, you know what I mean? I'm coming out and greeting him at the door when I'm not at work and fucking happy, so, you know. Daisy brings me a pack, he was in a good mood, whatever. Daisy brings me 3 packs, he was going to be fucking ecstatic, right? So, guys like chatting with me, kind of this weird guy, you know what I mean? So he was like, oh yeah, so you're the records? Yeah, I was like, that's really cool. You know, he's like, yeah, you know, I've been looking for this record though, it's really hard to find, you know, so, I just haven't been able to find this fucking record though, man. Maybe, you know, I was like, well, you know, I was like, hey, well, what is it? I mean, I'm in record stores all the time. I'll keep an eye out for you. He's not a mailman, right? Of course, I want to stay on his good side, right? He's like, man, there's this band, I don't know if you've heard of them, man, but they're called Bread, you know, and they the record called The Best of Bread, man, oh, I just love that record so much. By the way, my mailman was black, okay, so just on top of it, like, this is like the whitest band ever. So, you know, I'm not one to, like, sit here and play racial stereotypes, but the fact that my black mailman was wanting me to go search out a Bread record for him was just like the cherry on top of this story, okay? So fucking, he's like, yeah, oh man, I would be so, I can't find that Bread record. I'm like, okay, well, you probably haven't been looking for it. But that's okay, because you know something, not everyone hangs up the records, so they'll tell you. So, next time I'm at Amoeba Records, sure enough, they have a copy of Best of Bread. I'm like, it's probably only $1, but I go through this shit, they don't have $1 for it. Fuck, sons of bitches. So I had to cough up all of $3 for this fucking record. And I was like, okay, well, goddamn, whatever, man. I love my mailman. He's a cool guy. And the fact that he wants this record is already so funny to me that, you know, and he'll be happy and he'll be surprised because, you know, if someone asks something like that, you don't expect him to deliver, right? So I show up and be like, hey man, I got something for you. So I hand him, like, here it is, okay? He's like, oh wow, I'm so, he's fucking freaking out over this Bread record. Okay, well, meanwhile, like, so I made his day, okay, and I like got to be the good guy. And seriously, make friends with your mailman. If you got issues with your mail, dude, you're fucking going about it wrong. Don't be like, oh, fucking mailman. Make friends with him, okay? You'll never have a fucking problem. Well, trust me, okay? Don't go out of your way for you, believe me, all right? But anyway, so. I mean, you know, kind of, I'm listening to Saint's Anger right now. I've done features on Voivod and Slayer. I listen to free jazz. Okay, so you know what kind of music I listen to. I definitely tend to have a bit of an attraction for sort of the more abrasive shit, right? Okay. So after I bought this thing, but before the mailman came, because I gave it to him within like a day or two, I was lying around, I was like, you know something? I've never actually heard this. I mean, I've heard, like, the couple of, like, you know, 30 seconds of Baby I'ma Want You, you know, their biggest hit from the fucking K-Tel commercials. I've never actually listened to this record, so I'm gonna put it on, just fucking hear on it. So I put it on. And I was just sitting around in my living room listening to it. My wife was in there, too. And my wife goes, Jesus Christ, I can't believe how bad this record is. This is the worst fucking thing ever. And this is, you know, I was coming off a black metal kick, okay? Like, she's already into black metal, but this was too fucking much. So so that's funny. So that's my first Bread story, okay? Now my second story about Bread was when I actually got this copy, okay? By this time I moved to Livermore, okay? I wasn't living in the city anymore. I went to the thrift store, and I didn't have a lot of money at the time, but there's a thrift store near some place where, I don't know, I was doing some other shit. I was with my kid, my younger kid at the time, who was into, like, Thailand. He'd be embarrassed if I said that now, but he'll be watching this anyway, so we were poking around and, like, looking at the shit, and I assumed the records were $1, right? So I was going through them, and, like, they had like one Beat Stones record, actually. It was probably the best thing in there, but it was just usual direct that this thing was in there, and I was like, fuck, you know, it's about those Lesser Bangs records, and I was thinking about just, like, how phenomenally bad this record was, and I was like, alright, so I brought it up to the counter, right? My kid had a couple things, right? Or, like, he had, like, some fucking, like, notebook that had Thailand on it or something, and, like, one other thing, okay? So then the notebook was going to be, like, 50 cents, and I assumed it was going to be $1, so I was like, you know, whatever. So I go up there, I set it on the counter, right? Along with the thing, she's like, oh, okay, well, this thing is, okay, well, the record's $2, and what's that? And I was like, okay, well, you know, in that case, let me put the record back. She was like, really? For $2? I was like, yeah, I thought it was $1, and you know, she was like, is that worth $2? I was like, well, she's like, you don't want, you know, you're not willing to spend $2 on it? I was like, well, here's the thing, is I know for a fact that this is a terrible record, and the only reason I'm even bringing it up to the counter is just some sort of fucked up act of self-loathing. So she's like, so she picks up, she goes, oh, it's not such a bad record. She starts like reading the titles, and it was like, she was like, I'll tell you what. So I'll here, the record and this other shit for your kid, $2 for everything. It's like, fuck. So you just tricked me into buying a goddamn copy of The Best of Bread, which I might have played this one. I don't think I played this though, okay? But I'm like, god damn it, how did I just get tricked into buying a fucking Bread record? You know what I mean? So yeah, it was funny though, man. I've never walked up to the counter and been like, yeah, this record is a piece of shit, and I'm actually a piece of shit for putting it on the counter, and the fact that it's sitting right here between you and me right now is an embarrassment to me. But here we are, and here I am, and I think that's my wallet in my hand, but I'm afraid to double check because never mind. So some other shit I've been listening to. Those are my Bread stories. Pulled this one out. This fucking cover is water damaged as hell, but this is an easy record to overlook. This is Hobbs' Angel of Death. It's some Australian thing, which is kind of on the thrashy side. I've been listening to a lot of Destruction, hung up on the German thrash shit, so there's definitely kind of a thrash bent to this video, but this record is fucking really good, man. Every song, dude, Jack the Ripper, Crucifixion, Satan's Crusade, Lucifer's Domain, Marie Antoinette. Just fucking great, man. It's heavy. The guy looks awesome. Definitely, I'd say looks more Mexican than Australian, but what are you gonna do? And totally recommend it. 2 thumbs up. Okay? Don't pay an arm and a leg for it, because you can find it cheap. This one, on the other hand, this one really pretty much sucks. Another thing I did is I was going through my S's and just pulling some shit out. So a lot of S records in here. That's not one of them, but I pulled up the Shelter record, which I hadn't played in a while. And probably the most enjoyment I got out of this one is telling my kids who play Pokemon that, oh look, it has the same name as a Pokemon. Oh, the Pokemon spelled with 2 L's. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking calling themselves Shelter, even though they're French. And, you know, I have a soft spot for French records, and this one's kind of rare, but it's just not that good, man. Like the singer, the woman singer, Corinne Huckabee, sounds kind of whiny and not very good, and it has like some really corny, like, there's an instrumental called Randy Rhoads on, and the album is dedicated to the memory of Randy Rhoads, which is just laying it on a little thick if you ask me, and the songs just aren't that good. So really, Daniel Huckabee is probably the best thing about this if you look at him and his mustache, although Pascal Lacroix isn't bad. But look at that, you know, I've cracked wise so many times about it. The women singers who like sound like real singers versus sound like the guitar player's girlfriend. Okay, well check it out, and notice there's a last name in common there. So man, I hate to play fucking stereotype again, 2 in 1 video, but this one runs afoul of that rule, and it's a cool piece, man. And it looks like it could be a great record. I mean, look at that drawing. It's all like fucking cheap and shit, and the guy's arms are too short. But it's just not very good, man. So, kind of a disappointment on that one. This is a record I was kind of pulling out, which got me through there. I just had a hankering to listen to this record again, which I hadn't played in a while. This is a Shiva record on Heavy Metal Records, which I guess I can pull out and show off the label. And this is really... lyric insert, or a lyric inner. This is really kind of a wussy record, in a way. Like, as metal records go, it's not very good. It's kind of not worthy of the label. And the first time I played this record, I hated it. In fact, I actually got rid of it. This is my second copy. Because I rebought it. But you know something, man? The songs just grew on me. And, like, this band's been compared to Rush. I don't really think that's a very good comparison point, except for the fact that these guys are kind of wussy and Rush is kind of wussy. But just like on a good Rush album, though, which would be like the first couple, and with serious reservations, but that's another conversation. I don't know, man. I just kind of like this record, man. The songs are kind of catchy. For some reason, like even when they bust out the corny shit, like the talk box, I can handle it. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like the chorus, I mean, there's a song called En Cachant, you know what I mean? Like a fucking English band with a French song title. I mean, there's all sorts of things to hate about this, but it just works. I don't know, man. The pieces fit together for me. I like that record. I give it a thumb up. So like I said, I've been going for the heavy stuff, so I kind of went on a little bit of a Sabbath kick. And I have 2. Shit, there's all this dust on the cover of this one. This is probably the one I like more of the 2. This is Evoke. Remember how the E is smaller than the rest of it? I don't know what the deal is with that in the fonts, but it's a fucking classic cover. And of course, look at them. It's fucking Hell's Headbanger in there. Hell's Headbanger's singing there, so it's a reissue from Hell's Headbangers from a few years ago. Great record, though, man. Fucking just heavy shit. I mean, they're basically like the Japanese Venom, you know, except the English was bad. It was like they knew and they didn't give a shit. This is an earlier pressing of End Venom with, on Iron Pegasus Records. Yeah, the song In Venom is actually on the other record. Shit, I've only got 2 left, but the record ended, so I'm gonna go flip it real quick. Alright, so here's another one that I pulled out. Again, sort of on my Thrash kick. And this is what I've had for a long time, but I never really gave it its due. I'm not even sure if I played this thing once after I got it. I kind of got it more on the strength of its reputation. sort of filed it away and forgot about it. But this is a really good thrash record, man. It's a Polish band. I don't have, this may be the only Polish record I own, although I wouldn't put a whole lot of money on that, but I don't have more than a couple. That's for damn sure, and I can't think of another one at all right off. Cat, and this is called 666. So you know it's super fucking evil. You know what I mean? It's the Nuclear War Now reissue of it. This is just a solid record, man. It's like a thrash record, but it's not a total thrash record like the Destruction shit, where it's all about the speed. Like there's a lot of this sort of chunkiness to it too, and just meat. And I don't know, man. You know something? That cover really pretty much does it justice. If you look at what that cover looks like, that's pretty much what this record sounds like, and that's a good thing. So yeah. So I think this a lot, and I've got. You know, if you're not familiar with these guys, at least listen to them online or something like that, because, you know, there's so many bands from places like Eastern Europe and even more from South America that I'm just afraid to start digging into because it'll empty my bank account in like 10 minutes. But, fucking Cat, that's a good band. This isn't bad. It's not great, but it's very good. It's totally listenable. I can dig Saint's Anger. So here's another one that's a little bit of a classic. Not quite as great as I'd hoping it would be, but it's a cool record. And this is Black Mass by Death SS. So this is actually the last of their records that I own. I have this one and In Death of Steve Sylvester, and then that Comp, which was their first record, and a couple singles and shit like that. So they were definitely a lot more developed, and it's kind of weird on this one. You know, after they reformed, you know, you listen to like the early singles, and they sound so primitive. And then you listen to like In Death of Steve Sylvester, it sounds like a completely different band, because like the whole fucking 80s happened, you know, it was like they basically split up in like 81 and then reformed in like 88. So it was like, you know, they kind of figured out a good way to go with it. There you go, there's a little nudity in the inside for you there. Although you're not going to be able to see it in the video, but it's pretty awesome looking gatefold. This is on an Italian label too, so I might as well bust that out. But, yeah, Metal Master. You don't see that label very often. But, you know, so this is just a solid, you know, 80s heavy metal record with some, you know, it's kind of dark. It's not as dark as you wish it was going to be with that cover. But, I don't know, man. It hit the spot for me when I needed it, you know? So, yeah, I like Death SS a lot. I really do. I do like the earlier stuff the most, okay? If you can get one Death SS full length, you should get The Story of Death SS, which was their posthumous comp that came out in like 84 or something like that, I think. And I got lucky actually because I bought that one. You can still get it cheap. You know, those early singles are awesome. But these LPs, man, there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. When they went techno, I've heard some of that stuff like online and that, and that's kind of trying my patience a bit much. But Black Mass and In Death of Steve Sylvester get a thumbs up from me. Alright, well, I've blabbed a long time now. I suppose I spent a lot of time talking about bread, and more time than I planned to about the Stones, but hey, thanks for watching. Always a pleasure, and hats off. Subscribe to Garen. Fuck, there's the stop thing on here.